everyone, welcome to our show Health and Wellness, Myths versus Facts. I'm Gargi Rawat. Now, health and wellness are essential to living a fulfilling life. As the body ages, it becomes prone to medical conditions. Aging cannot be prevented, but we can learn to deal with the issues that arise in order to keep our loved ones in good health. People are living longer all around the world, and most people nowadays can expect to live into their 60s and beyond. Every country in the world is seeing population growth as well as an increase in the number of elderly people. Now, aging leads to a gradual decrease in physical and mental capacity and a growing risk of disease. The prevalence of most chronic diseases and conditions such as diabetes and heart ailments increases with age. Every day, millions of people with chronic conditions struggle to maintain their symptoms. Proper knowledge about chronic conditions such as diabetes can help elderly people manage them well. And there are many queries regarding lifestyle and medications in elderly people. And we have an expert panel today to address all the doubts that you may have. Joining us on the show, we have Dr. Nishant Kanodia, internal medicine professor, Hind Medical College and consultant physician, Shekhar Hospital in Lucknow. Thank you so much, doctor, for joining us. And let's start the show. My first question to you, in fact, is about how portion control and a balanced diet are key factors in a healthy lifestyle and managing diabetes. But when it comes to elder patients, it becomes difficult. So what type of diet should older adults with diabetes follow?
So diabetes is usually a metabolic disorder in which the blood sugar levels are very high and blood insulin level is very low. So a balanced diet is definitely very essential. And our elderly people are taking the diet for a very long time, and they are not fond of eating only restricted diet. So a very nutritive plan is very essential in this phase of life for them. So for them to be very precise, they should start with small divided doses. They should change a specific diet if they want to do in a manner that those diet will be for the positive mindset. They should eat green leafy vegetables, citrus fruits, lean proteins, whole grains, such as cottage cheese with berries or a whole grain cereal with milk. That will decrease their mental state, and they will improve in slow metabolism, and whatever they were having like muscle atrophy should be addressed very well.
All right. Now, Dr. Nishant, older individuals face a lot of stress at this vulnerable age, both emotional and physical stress because of chronic conditions. So what tips would you suggest to such people to manage their stress?
Again, in the older age, it is very important for older people or senior citizens to have little peace and quietness to relieve any kind of stress. There are multiple associations all around the world that have suggested that these mental health concerns are the major concern for irregular diet, irregular disease processes. So social anxiety disorder, post-traumatic disorder, panic and obsessive disorder, and general anxiety disorder are the main part involving in this mental health management. So mindfulness, like investment or your mind in some activities like reading, dancing, or gardening, is very essential. You can join a club or get out to a class where you don't feel lonely. You can practice deep breathing meditation, yoga, exercise, listen to music that reduces cortisol levels in the brain also. Or you can serve the community in a good way so that your mind is busy and you are not alone.
All right, so important to keep themselves busy and positive as well. How frequently should older people with comorbid conditions like diabetes and hypertension go for blood tests and as well as other tests? And if you could tell us, what are those other tests?
So anyone above 40 years of age requires a blood test. Elderly people usually above 65 require blood tests on a basis of 3 to 6 months, depending upon their diseases, or maybe once a year. So there are certain tests that are required on these bases. So in 3 to 6 months, kidney function should be tested for nephropathy, lipids, and for hypertension and cholesterol disorders. Thyroid, vitamin D, X-rays should be done for general well-being. Bone mineral density should be checked definitely because osteoporosis and osteoarthritis are living with them. Diabetes profile should also be checked every 3 to 6 months. Other than this, cardiac markers, eye checkup for retinopathy, foot examination for diabetic foot and neuropathy, And there are problems with their dental, like caries and tinnitus in the hearing also. So they all should get checked at least once in 6 months. For once a year, there are diseases that are not present but they are hidden. So cancer markers for males and females like CA 99.9 and PSA should be done. Viral markers for hepatitis and HIV and mammograms and pap smear tests for the women should be done at least once a year, especially for elderly more than 65 years of age.
All right, we're also joined by Dr. R. Varun Prasanna, specialist in internal medicine, diabetology and critical care, Prabhu Diabetes Specialty Center in Kaveri Hospital, Trichy. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us. And we're talking about how the elderly need to manage their health and certain conditions. Now, we have seen that elderly have a list of ailments and complications associated with chronic conditions. What advice can you give them to better manage these conditions, and how can they delay the progression of these complications?
Yeah, so rightly said, there are a list of ailments, including this Alzheimer's disease, this Parkinson's, the cognitive dysfunctions, which they do suffer a lot because of these cognitive dysfunctions. They will be keeping on forgetting things, and they can always keep their mind active by doing a lot of household tasks like gardening. They keep on reading the newspapers. They can do this Sudoku, which is a number game which is coming in the papers, so that the mind always gets active. And there are small ground exercises where they can do. There are many exercises which are available in the network to check on their exercises at home. They can do these exercises at home. And a short distance walking in the terrace or a nearby place from their home with and taking lots of fruits and vegetables. All these things do help in their regular activities, their active mind health, and their getting their sugars and the blood pressures under control. The next will be the vitamin D deficiency, which is very, very common among all the elderly people. This vitamin D deficiency can be fight out by making them walk under the sunlight in the morning or in the evenings, so that the vitamin D synthesis gets increased and their bone strength goes high and they'll be a little active. And keeping themselves hydrated properly by drinking adequate amount of water to maintain their electrolyte levels like the sodium and the potassium levels, which is very, very important, because many of them get repeatedly admitted just because their sodium and potassium levels are low. So keeping hydrated is definitely very, very important. And we should always manage the comorbid conditions. This diabetes, hypertension, the renal conditions and the cardiac conditions should be always kept in mind and proper control for them to have a healthy life and a good quality of life. Of course, using assistance for walking, and there are many apps which are available to assess to give them the reminder for the drugs, for the tablets, so that they might not forget those tablets, and a good ophthalmological checkup for their vision, as well as a hearing aid for their hard of hearing issues will, of course, increase the quality of life of them, and they will be happy living.
All right, now Dr. Nishant had told us about managing stress as people get older. So Dr. Prasanna, if you could tell us about, how regular exercise and being physically active are key also to a healthy life, and how much physical activity is then recommended for the elderly with diabetes and heart disease. If you could suggest exercises that can be done safely.
Yeah, as I said all this time, this regular exercise is very, very important for them to have a healthy life and an active life. So what they tell is the cornerstone of healthy life is physical activity, and we do recommend at least 30 minutes of physical activity for 5 days a week at least is recommended by the international guidelines for the body activity to remain healthy and all their parameters to be under control, like the sugar or the blood pressure. So I would recommend 30 minutes of exercise for 5 days, and it is a very easy method to count your steps. So they can wear a smartwatch and keep counting their steps. Around 4,000 steps per day for an elderly person is definitely required for them to be active. And many ground exercises, the aerobic exercises, is useful in the lumbar patients who have the lumbar spondylosis, the low backache patients. And you can go ahead with the labyrinthine exercises, which are also available in the internet. You can check in the search engine and you can find for the labyrinth exercises, because many of them, they do suffer with vertigo, and I would always advise my elderly patients to practice this yoga and meditation. Of course, the pranayama for the breathing exercises for the lungs, especially in this post-COVID era, and definitely whatever exercise you proceed, always consult your cardiologist, assess your cardiac function, whether your heart will be able to withstand these kind of exercises. Please do recheck with your own doctor and proceed with these kind of things.
Right, and diabetes, as we know, is a disease of complications. It affects many organs in our body. So which diabetes complications are common in older people, and what's the best way for them to prevent this?
Yeah, the almost every complication is problematic. Every complication of diabetes is problematic. We have to keep a track on the coexisting complications if the sugars are not under control in elderly people. And it depends upon the duration of diabetes. We call it the diabetic age. It always accounts for the onset of complications. If the patient has a diabetic age of more than 5 years, they are prone to get many complications of diabetes. And most commonly, we come across this micro and macrovascular complications. These microvascular complications are the retinopathy, the nephropathy, and the neuropathy. And the macrovascular complications are the problem with the vascular problem, the blood vessel problem, that is namely the stroke, the heart attack. All these things come with the macrovascular complications. But the problematic thing for an elderly in diabetic complications would be, I would think, it is a neuropathic symptom. Patients do suffer a lot with the neuropathic symptoms. They have all these kind of pricking like sensations, the burning sensation from the foot, and they are not able to walk plainly, comfortably in the flat surface. They keep tripping down. They have recurrent falls. They might even land up in head injury, causing deleterious chronic bedridden state. And of course, check into the proper glycemic control to get their sodium, protein, hemoglobin under proper control. Of course, many of them, they do suffer with constipation. When the patient has uncontrolled diabetes, constipation is one big problem. Poor appetite is another big problem. All these things contributing to the reduced quality of life. So keeping proper control of sugar and BP is going to help a lot in preventing this kind of microvascular complications, and especially the neuropathic complication and the cognitive dysfunction in an elderly should be taken care.
All right, well, thank you for that. You're watching Health and Wellness, and we're talking about how the elderly can manage their chronic conditions better. We'll slip into a short break and be back with more. Welcome back. You're watching Health and Wellness, myths versus facts, and we're talking about managing disease in the elderly. Dr. Nishant Kanodia, the majority of older people with diabetes are on insulin. So what are the chances of hypoglycemic episodes in these patients, and how do you prevent it?
So hypoglycemia is a devastating event for anyone who is taking insulin or other anti-diabetic medications. Especially in the elderly, it's a very risky process, and it carries high risk of frailty. Frailty is kind of comorbidity in which the patient gets into, then the recovery is very rare. So as per the American Diabetic Association, the hypoglycemias are not very rare, and they create fear for all the patients of diabetes taking insulin. In type 1 diabetes, it constitutes approximately 10% episodes per year, and other majority is in type 2 diabetes, where nocturnal hypoglycemias in elderly are very common. These are usually followed by seizures and death also. So it is very essential to prevent these hypoglycemias in a good way, and it is definitely required to consult your doctor about the knowledge of the hypoglycemia. So there are drugs like GLP-1 receptor agonists, DPP-4 inhibitors, long-acting basal insulins, which carries no or minimal hypoglycemia. These can be used in these elderly people. Other than that, continuous glucose monitoring systems or CGMs are available as Freestyle Libre devices that can know the exact cause and time of hypoglycemia and how to treat with a drug or a food. Glucagon injections are also available in the market that can prevent these hypoglycemic episodes in the case of emergency. You can keep sugar-rich biscuits, candies, or lozenges at the bedside to give an instant boost in the glucose levels till the help is available. You can keep duly informed your friends and relatives about the emergencies of hypoglycemia. And lastly, don't change your any drug or dose even if you get a hypoglycemia without consulting a doctor.
All right, Dr. Prasanna, now knowing your numbers is an important part of keeping your health in check. So what is target blood sugar levels that older people with diabetes should maintain?
Yeah, that's a good question because we should know the numbers of where we are, especially in elderly population. Of course, in healthy population, we can have a stringent blood glucose control in order to prevent the complications of diabetes. Of course, in elderly, the fasting can be set in between 100 and 180 milligram per deciliter. So that is what the ADA recommendation says, the American Diabetes Association. So the fasting can be fixed between 100 and 180, and the postprandial, that is the sugar which is taken 2 hours after your breakfast, can be fixed between 110 to 200. So we would not recommend to go for a stringent control like around fasting like 80 or postprandial of 90 or 100, because the chances of this hypoglycemia, that is low sugar, is very common in elderly, which might affect an elderly person because they will not be aware of this hypoglycemia, they will not be alert, and they cannot tell the proper symptoms, so that we might miss the hypoglycemias. So every episode of hypoglycemia will keep on reducing the cognitive function, that is the brain function of the elderly people, and of course making them, as sir previously told, making them a bedridden state or not in a proper interest or proper active state. So this is the sugar levels. And the another HbA1c, which is the past 3 months average blood glucose level, should be maintained less than 8%. In a healthy individual, we recommend around 7%, but in an elderly population, less than 8% is adequate because the chances of hypoglycemia is less when the sugar levels are, HbA1c levels are maintained less than 8%. Of course, regarding the blood pressure monitoring, we would recommend an elderly person to have the blood BP of around 140/90. The systolic, that is the upper pressures around 140 and the lower pressures around 90 or 80 is recommended. Less than that, the perfusion to the brain, the blood supply to the brain might be a problem. Yeah, so 140 and 90 is the blood pressure value.
Okay, and Dr. Kanodia, open angle glaucoma is the most common among older people. So how does glaucoma affect the elderly?
Glaucoma is a kind of irreversible loss to your eyes. So American Association of Ophthalmology and Glaucoma Research Foundation has said that anyone above 40 years of age should get an eye checkup done, especially for glaucoma. It covers almost 1.9% population in US. Open angle glaucoma is 90% available in the age group over 65 years of age, and when a patient reaches 75 years of age, they are known as legally blind also. So they usually increases with age. It happens more in the women than in the men, and there could be a family history of glaucoma, diabetes or hypertension with the same patient having glaucoma and not knowing about their symptoms. Usually the symptoms and signs are not present, but patient can complain of frequent falls because of not seeing very clearly, or there is haziness in front of his eyes. A patient driving or has a difficulty in driving in the night hours, and this is because of the high intraocular pressure in the eyes. So a visual field examination and an optic nerve assessment is very essential. There are certain drugs like beta blockers and prostaglandin analogs that are available as eye drops. Other than that, you should keep your blood pressure, your diabetes in control with a healthy diet and a lifestyle. And lastly, surgical and laser options are always available.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Kanodia and Dr. Prasanna, for joining us on the program to talk about health and also what elderly people need to watch out for. Thanks for watching as well. Goodbye.